Well, thanks for coming, all of you. My name is Rodrigo Peplau. I am a Sitecore solution architect from Brazil. Worked with Sitecore for 10 years, and now I'm working with a company called Niche Tech. We're having a lot of fun there. This is my first time as a speaker. However, not my first time for big audiences, as I used to play with my band. So if anything goes wrong, I'll probably start singing. Okay. All right. So I'm here to bring you a little bit of practical things about how face recognition can be used as a boost to your offline channels. Okay. So here are a fictional company called Books and Course. They are, I would say, a very successful company in terms of online. They are going very well. They have a Sitecore website. Their marketing team are very experienced on doing personalization, A/B tests, marketing automation, all that good stuff. However, their physical stores are still struggling to take advantage of that online success. Right, so the owners are trying to see how that can be improved, and that's how some engineers came out with a cool technology called face recognition. So the idea here is to use that as like something interesting to attract and increase the engagement in their offline channels. Okay. So here are two frequent visitors, Rodrigo, myself, and Eliane, my friend. Those are, of course, different. They have different behaviors and all that. I like that books. Eliane like that books. I would say this is our standard. As you guys know, everything goes through XDB. And that's always in place already. So that's in my fictional company. Maybe that's why they are so good. They already have that running. So when they know that behavior about their users, they can offer recommended books for that profile, for that specific profile. And that's already in place. So the user has to register, of course, because otherwise how they're gonna buy, right? After the registration, you have the chance to upload your picture. And this is where the things start to be fun, because with my picture, I can engage myself and enroll in the face recognition process. In order to comply with privacy regulations, especially here in Europe, or I don't know. Well, you guys have GDPR, right? Let me know if you find out. You guys have GDPR. One of the most important things is that the user has to consciously agree with the use of the data that will be done. So in this case, the user is only giving access, for improved experience in a physical store, nothing else and nothing more. Right? So this is how things are organized. Because we are all devs, I think you're curious to see how that's organized. So as you can see in the left, your left, yeah. You have the genres, and inside the genres you have the books. I would say pretty straightforward. You also have the marketing definitions, where not a coincidence, they have the same name as the genres. This is how their marketing team assembled that. So it's possible to track down that. I would say this is how the things are bound, okay? So you have the genres by assigned to the profiles. And of course, as you guys know, we are selecting a profile card to each of these genders. And also we have, how many clicks I still have? Yeah. So so this is how in experience profile you see your users, your contacts, right? The patterns are showing their preferences, basically. Pretty straightforward, nothing new here, right? We do have some personalization rules to build this thing, okay? Those are the rules that you can see. We're adding 3 of them because in the recommendation page, I want to have the best 1, best 2, or top 2 and 3, right? So the 3 most accessed genders for that person will be in this list. As you guys can see, they have 9 variations. And the reason is because each of these 9, I have only 9 genders. Each of these 9 genders are mapped on here. This is how it looks like. So this variation that is, that you're seeing at the top, it will stop. Don't worry. In this case, you're seeing the top 3, the best 3 of them. And well, I of course only had to, in this case, to put together a custom action, a custom condition to do that and get the data from XConnect, right? So, and this is where we start. Okay, sorry, one more. I see you guys are checking here. It's very different. The reason why is very hard to bring a real bookshelf from Brazil. So I had to put together, use my creativity and bring this way. I think I count with your imagination as well to pretend this is a bookshelf. So as you can see, visually it's pretty much like a normal bookshelf, except that there's a screen in the middle and there's a webcam in the top. We have books arranged by gender. So every shelf you see there will have their own gender. And this is, of course, the organization I choose, but it doesn't necessarily need to be yours. And also we have LED LEDs, strips, positioned on each of these genders. The idea is that instead of just providing something to the user, on the screen, as everybody used to, we're just giving some feedback, some physical feedback to the user. And lights are what I choose for this. I am a great enthusiastic of, the maker universe. And this is how I am trying to bind hardware and Sitecore, our beloved platform, right? So here is a small demonstration of how the thing works. So as you can see, the software will keep on scanning for a face until you find someone that is a known face and an authorized face, of course, because you are never going to use someone's face without their compliance. When a face is identified, the bookshelf is calling, a cloud API specialized for that. In this case, I'm using Kairos, but you can use virtually anything that is capable to do face recognition, like Microsoft Cognitive Services and others. And once the person is recognized, when the person is in the library, maybe library is not a good choice. When the person is engaged in the Cloud API, the Cloud API will give back a Face ID. And the Face ID is what I use to identify you as a contact on XDB. So it's one of the identifiers. As soon as you give authorization, you have that identifier in your XConnect. And then if the face API gives me that face ID, I can use the face ID to identify you, right? Later on, when you are identified and I have your face ID, I am calling two things. I have 2 points here to call, and the reason I will tell you is because, the first one, the first front will be the browser. You have a browser in this application, and this is, I would say, you guys know how a browser works. I'm just browsing there, identifying you, and that will show on the screen the recommendations. However, I have another front where I need to call JSS API only. And the reason is because I need to turn on the LEDs, right? I cannot do that with a browser. The browser is like a black box, and I cannot do anything with that in my application. That's why I use JSS to call the same thing and get the JSON response, so my application can parse it and turn on the respective LEDs. Sorry, LED is how we call it in Brazil. Right? And then finally, you're having these feedbacks. So you see in the screen the recommended books, and you also see the LEDs being, blinking or turning on. So you have a physical feedback. Yes, I'm going too fast. No? My content is almost over. No, I'm kidding. Right? And here is the detection loop, okay? Because the cloud API is the cloud, I cannot afford calling this all the time, especially because, as you can see, you will see in the demo, I will scan faces every, 100 milliseconds. So I cannot call the web API all the time. So what I will do is I will have a first loop, which is a face detection loop. In this face detection loop, I'm using a local API. The local API is pretty dumb. It doesn't do anything except then, it's like an object detector. It's not actually a face detector, but an object detector that detects an object that is a face. However, it is dumb enough to don't know if it's a woman, a guy, or whatever. I'm just doing this because then I can afford calling this method over and over and over until a face is identified or recognized. And if I do that, when there is a square that you guys will see during the demo around your face, when it's stabilized, it will call the web API. So you go to the second loop, and if the face is not known, I will go back to the loop, to the face detection loop. If it is known, then I can do my good stuff. So I'll get the face ID back, I will identify you, I will show the browser with your recommendations, and I will blink the corresponding LEDs according to my call to JSS. And then I'll wait for a time. It's all configurable. The experience, in this case, I set up for 15 seconds only because of time optimization. However, you, of course, will put this in your store and will choose something that makes sense to your business. Right? Let me show a little bit about, oh, sorry, I forgot that I had this thing, sorry. So a little bit about the hardware, okay? I have, as the brain of that bookshelf is a Raspberry Pi, which is a cheap and strong, relatively strong PC, capable of doing the things I need. And this is one of the things that makes this technology interesting. It's cheap, You can do with an old camera. The camera I'm using there has 10 years. And the Raspberry is also 40 bucks, something like that. What is happening? it's not me. What just happened? I knew something would happen. Okay. Software. We're running Windows IoT Core on this thing, which is a compilation of Windows 10, specifically for small and IoT devices like this. And the application is built on UWP, Universal Windows Platform, right? That application is universal, for sure, for real. I mean, you can put that application in any PC that runs Windows or any device that runs Windows, and it will run the same way. Attached to it, I have a camera and a monitor to do the magic, of course. And that's a relay module. The reason why I need a relay module is because Raspberry can only handle 5 volts each time. And the LEDs requires 12 volts. So I learned that the wrong way. I like burned my first Raspberry until I learned that I cannot do that. And I knew this sympathetic device, which will allow me to control up to 2200 volts, which is good enough until I just need 12, but enough to kill your Raspberry. So when I got a message, then I can call the commands in the Raspberry that will trigger the corresponding LEDs, LEDs. Yeah. Right, I guess. I have prepared for you guys, because I didn't know how good this demo would be. I prepared a small video that I would like to show, so that we recorded that in a public library in Florianopolis, the place I live. And I guess that's the best way to let you know how the thing really works. It's only 4 minutes. Pretended doesn't
Presenting the Smart Bookshelf for Sitecore. Companies have gold in their analytics data. Sitecore offers various ways to visualize and interact with your audience. Most interactions come from online channels. But what can be done to elevate your physical channels? The Smart Bookshelf is one example of a possible answer. Developed using face recognition to associate with your experience analytics contacts, you can bring the power of advanced personalization to your physical presence. Scanning occurs until a known face is detected. Once found, the person is identified within Sitecore. The Smart Bookshelf will display personalized recommendations. It's not just about what you see on the screen. The Smart Bookshelf uses LED strips on each of the bookshelves to identify the recommended genres. Rodrigo, lover of music and literature, just found out about this amazing online bookstore and is looking to add more books to his collection. As Rodrigo searches on the website, his actions are being captured in XDB, which will later be used for book recommendations. Rodrigo likes what he is looking at and decides to create an account. He goes to the registration page and fills out a form with his information and creates a username and password. After completing the registration, Sitecore now recognizes Rodrigo as a known contact. Now in the experience profile, Rodrigo's contact shows his preferred genres. Rodrigo then accesses the account page on the website and uploads his picture. Then he checks the checkbox for an improved experience in physical stores. This allows his picture to be utilized for face recognition. A warning is displayed to Rodrigo. We are making sure Rodrigo consciously complies for the use of his picture with face recognition. A week later, as Rodrigo is walking home from lunch, he sees a physical bookstore from the website he visited. He decides to stop in. Rodrigo notices the sign informing him that the store utilizes face recognition. Rodrigo, remembering that he uploaded his photo and gave consent, decides to go try it out. Rodrigo approaches the monitor on one of the smart bookshelves and his face is recognized. As Rodrigo is identified in Sitecore, the genres based on his online behavior are used to provide book recommendations and lights up the bookshelves of his preferred genres. Rodrigo, loving what he sees, grabs a book from each genre identified. Our friend Ileani is a bookworm, but her taste in literature are quite different than Rodrigo's. When she is recognized, her individual preferences are displayed on the screen and her favorite genre bookshelves are lit. Ileani gets a book from her favorite genre, drama. This is Roberto. Maybe because of Roberto's preference for dystopias, Roberto is not a fan about giving away his personal information. Roberto notices he can log into the website using facial recognition. Let's just say Roberto doesn't like the idea and has no problem outwardly expressing his feelings. Roberto goes to his account and clears the checkbox for using his picture for face recognition. When Roberto tries to use face recognition at the physical bookstore, he is not recognized and is ignored. Thanks for watching. Amo Sitecore sempre.
Yeah, at least the video went fine. All right, so now, guys, here is the YouTube link if you guys want to see the spreadsheets again. Next, why it's not working anymore. Okay, let's go here. So here's the demo time. Pray for the demo gods. I would like to invite some folks, but before that, I will start with my face. You know, as a lone guy developing in your room, that's probably the face you're gonna use, right? So I will start by getting to what's happening here. Oh yeah? Face not recognized. This is what happens when the face is not in the database. When it gets back, yeah. I've tested this so many times, never happened this thing. So like I said, I will start with my face. Once it's like stable, it only works if you have a single face on the screen. I mean, single square, identified square. Then you see my preferences as LEDs, right? And in the middle, you see that beautiful thing that everybody can do with Bootstrap. But this, I don't know, right? Okay, I would like to invite my friend. Oh, forgot to pick a book. Please, Himadri, he is one of the guys that is already in the database. Yeah, just stand still. There you go. You forgot to pick a book.
I am not a book reader.
I know. Who else? George, is George around? He's in my database. Yeah, come here, man, please. Save the demo. No guarantees. Yeah. No, it picks someone in. It pick you. Is that your preferences?
They are my preferences.
Really? Thanks, George. No.
I'm so surprised.
Pick a book. Yeah. You like it? Drama. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Last guy. I forgot to tell that if you, of course, you didn't allow your face to be recognized, and I'm not demoing that. you will not be identified and not show anything. Face not recognized. You might need some light.
You did say that you were not referring to demo that's not recognized.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay more, but
Okay. Yeah, that's right, that's right. You are in the database as well, Cam. Let's see if it works with you.
Well, so far you've had 3 successes. That's not bad for the first test.
This thing is coming from Brazil. It should work, man. Yeah, I'm using my 3G. That's why it's so slow. If you have like a broadband, thank you. Yeah, pick a book. Sci-fi.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Anyone in the audience that are not in the database want to try just to see how you're gonna be respected, your privacy?
maybe I should come closer.
It should just be quiet. Stand still. He's nervous. There you go. Face not recognized.
That's it.
So good that works. Thank you. You want to pick a book anyway? No? Huh? Right, guys. Well, that's my demo. Yeah, it works. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ooh, I'm so relieved. Okay, so I would like to tell you my takeaway. So where you can go from here, what things can be better, and etc. This is not working, not my fault, okay, Una? It's not my fault. Maybe the battery. You kill me, okay. Okay, so what we can get better here, okay? Recommendation feedback. I mean, here we're just getting and giving you the recommendation, right? But I can track down your actions after my recommendation to see if the recommendation was appropriated or not, right? That way I can refine next time you go to my library and give you a better book or a better genre, right? One very interesting thing, we don't have static where I live, it's so humid. Bookstore heat maps. So you guys are, of course, familiar with the concept of a heat map in a website. But if you have cameras spread through your store, you know, you can understand what places in your store are more hot and what places are not being accessed by anyone. Such a way you can fix your physical disposition and give a better experience to the user next. Improved interaction. So, along with the online behavior, the other facets can be used as well, because the API can detect from you if you're a man, your approximated age, your gender, even your ethnicity. I don't think it's interesting to use that facet, but you can if you want. By having that, it's not just your behavior, but also who you are, how you look, how you're feeling. I can use that as a facet to give you a better, I know. Right? When regulations permit, you can also do some anonymous recommendation. Even if I don't know you, even if the system don't know you, we can use those same facets for that purpose. And also, of course, Sitecore Cortex. I guess that's the future of this thing, is to integrate that with Cortex and see how artificial intelligence can be used to provide better suggestions. Stores. Here I'm bringing, in general, talking more about stores. What you can do with this thing, okay? So some things you can do, like you can give special treatment to your customer. You can call him by name just because he's walking in. You can celebrate a birthday and give some discount because it's his birthday. Everything with a non-intrusive interaction. All you have to do is to look at the camera, right? Some interesting things, but that's more for marketers. But you can do some brick and click promotions that will bind your offline and online audiences. So, for instance, you can for people that are physically in your store, but also are very, very active online, you can provide some special discount for this person. You can do some interesting draws, like I will select like 1,000 people in my database, but in order to this guy to get the price, he needs to step in a physical store. Thank you. Or personalized ads. This is more interesting. We can give you a special ad according to your mood, your gender, your online behavior, like I was saying, and also previous engagement. So picture that you're looking at an ad that has been given for you because of your interaction, but you don't like it. I can track down your face and see that your emotional response was not appropriated, and then I can discard that. Or maybe you had the opposite. You had a very strong positive reaction. I will keep that for the next. So that way we can refine without you doing anything, just being yourself. I would like to thank some faces here. I will start with these two, my wife and my kid, because they are, missing me for 2 months while I was doing this presentation. Roberto, my coworker, who did the Raspberry API, UWP, and also was in the video, the angry guy. Eliane, she is from the public library who let us do the filming. Mark Service, which was not just doing the video, he also did the edition and the narration. He should be here during the presentation. And Nuna, thank you. We're a great master, or whatever. I learned a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Guys, that's pretty much what I have. You have 10 minutes to questions. Questions? Please. Microphone. No, it's just a POC for now. No, I can understand. But anybody here as well? Or should he repeat the question? Should he repeat the question? Yeah.
Is that just a proof of concept, or you have any production deployment for it, or use today for a client?
In 6 months we will have, because I'm selling. No, it's a POC for now. It's just a toy, I would say. There's a lot to be improved. You guys saw during the demo. You get some problems, some bugs, but for 2 months is good enough. But I think it has a great potential, because it's not intrusive. When you have like this, a card like this, you have to go physically there and scan. They have a pretty good scanner here that you don't need to be, that close. But face recognition, you can even be identified without your conscious action, And I think that's promising. But no.
For the local recognition part, what framework are you using, like Microsoft CNTK or something similar?
That's it, Microsoft CNTK. I'm using that because it is native. It was there, and good enough for the first loop. It's not perfect, but because of the repetition in 100 milliseconds, I am rounding up the deficiencies that it has.
So you are doing like the online and then take the analytics data to offline. So have you think of like bring the other way around? So offline, if you connect data, how do you bring the the people who or go to the physical store, the data to connect online to feedback to Sitecore, and also maybe even like the people if they never get online, but you still trying to get the recommendations for the persons?
Good question. You will face, in some places, if you try to do that, you face some legal issues, you know, because you are capturing anonymous data and giving a meaning to it. And some places you cannot do, like in Europe, you cannot do that. But it's easy to do, because when I detect your face there, if you are unknown, I'm throwing out, but I can very well keep it in the database. And if I have your face today, and 1 month from now you go to my website and put upload your picture, I can match your picture that you uploaded with the one that I got in a physical store, and match the two things into the same, and that's something doable. Do I forgot anything else? I guess you had a second question. Is that no? That's all. Okay. Beard. Nobody's gonna ask about beard.
Okay, I have a question. I kind of built the same concept, also proof of concept, but I had a problem with multiple users in front of it. So I could work with colors. Maybe you have another idea if you have 2 or 3 people that are in the same display.
I'm glad you're doing that. Means that more people are aware of the potential of this technology.
But it was without the camera. It was just
uploading a picture
online, offline, and then you scan your and it had a facet search. So the facet on the website were exactly the same ones that you had in the store, and then you can filter on an author or on whatever you like.
Yeah, that's a problem I am skipping during this demo. Did you see that when you are being scanned, you have a square around your face? So if I have more than one, I will not activate the loop, okay? If I still have more than one, I ignore everything until I have only one. Who has been detected? Cool. Look, it's working. Yeah. So, but there are ways to do that, okay? Kairos API, when you upload a picture to it, it will give you back an array of faces. So not just the one that you have in the middle or maybe the biggest one, but also the other faces. And then with that array, you can do whatever you want. And if you want, you can split the picture into minor pictures, smaller pictures, and upload them as individual contacts. So to properly respond to your question, you can use the same picture, detect multiple contacts in the same picture. I don't know how you're gonna do a recommendation that way. That's another problem. Turn it on, maybe different colors, yeah, like you said, yeah.
Oh, sorry. A great demo, by the way. So obviously, just using one photo as a form of recognition is not the most thorough way of doing thorough.
No.
So have you given any thought of how you could improve on that without having to use 3D? Have you given any thought to how someone could verify that actually you've recognized me correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, face recognition is not perfect. What this API enables you is to upload multiple pictures. So instead of just having one, you can, if you want to increase the accuracy, you can upload multiple pictures of you with bird, without, when you are younger, you know, with a different haircut, and everything will be there to help the API to better identify you. But if you have a twin, you'll be a problem.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Thank you, Rodrigo, for your presentation.
Thank you very much.